One mini world, one creation dream.
So, welcome guys, welcome to the class number 3. In this class, we are going to learn some cool things. First, we are going to learn how to create the minions from the beginning, how to send minions to the enemy like base or the enemy bunker. And then we are going to learn to create the normal system, the system for actually send the waves over and over and create the different levels. Okay guys, so for this class, what we are going to learn, first we're going to do a small recap because I think the class was a little bit difficult, so I just want to do a quick recap. Don't worry, it's not going to take that time. I just want to clarify some specific things. Then we are going to start with TD scripts. I'm going to give you some scripts that you just need to copy and paste into your map, and with that you are going to have everything ready to set up some specific features, like as an example, soul towers, auto attack the mobs or the minions, and a lot of things that you will need, okay? After that, we are going to start creating the minions. The minions is not that much complicated as towers, because you see in the last class the towers were a little bit more complicated. And then we are going to learn how to buy and get the minions working on the system, so you can get some minions that are going to attack the enemy base. Then we are going to start creating the TD system, and if we left some time, I'm going to review some maps. And as always guys, as you know, after the class we start playing some maps, okay? So let's start to recap or to find out what was the last class. Remember that in the last class we create a combat system, okay? Just to remind you, we learned how to create the basis for the game, how to gain the 10 lives, how to get the life or the minions lose life, how to deal with the upgrades, how to create a minion base, and the towers, like the base for the towers, okay? We learned how to create the damage, how to increase the damage per level, we create a fire tower. So now, for this class, we are going to focus in the minions, okay guys? So, just to remind you what are going to do the minions. The minions, in this case, are going to have some specific features that we need to do or to create, okay? The first thing is that our minions are going to have a base life. The scale is going to be in 10. That means that the minion is going to start with 10 of life. You can set up whatever, but remember, don't use one number as a life, as an example, 1 of life, because when the tower damage and you can want to like graduate the damage and you have as an example the base that you want to do 1.5 of damage, that won't be possible. So always set up your minion as 20 or 10 as minimum. Don't use like very high values because it's going to be confusing for the players. Speed base is going to be 200s. That is going to be the normal speed, the most accurate one for this kind of games. With this, your mobs are not going to be too fast, so the players are going to have enough time to kill the players with the towers. But also they are not going to be extremely slow. That is also frustrating, okay? It's going to feel good with that speed. The coins, the reward is going to be 1 coin for each 20 of life. You don't have to worry for that, the system is going to do that automatically. And the price for selling those mobs is going to be 3. Also, you need to define the level and the class of your minion, okay? But moving forward, for creating your minions, what you have to do is that you have to do basically those objects. As you see, for actually creating the tower, it was a little bit difficult because our mob used to have first to create a mob, second to create a projectile, then a buff for the projectile, and then the miss item and the craft recipe. So we learned how to create that part. Also, we learned some basic triggers. So first, we learned the system to the player starts, in which actually we learned how to create the teams. So it was a red team and a blue team. Also, we create a place tower system that was, you can have all the towers, but what actually is going to place the towers is the one that says place oak or place fail, okay? That was just for the recap. Now, for the actual system that we are going to learn in starting the class right now, before starting with your mobs, before starting with everything, I want to show you how you can add some specific scripts to your system, okay guys? So, alright, so guys, here, please go ahead and open that link. The link that you are going to find here is the actual link that you can use to open the scripts, okay? Remember, also this link, guys, is going to be in the description for the video. open the link that I send you into the description, or that I send you into the chat, and you are going to see this, guys. You are going to see this new screen that says YeyoCore art and Yeyo scripts, okay? You are going to search for this one, the one that says store block, okay, guys? And what is going to do a store block for you guys to understand is going to create the menu that you see in my game that you can open the store with your system. So be sure that you are going to copy, check this, you have all this code here. You need to be sure that you are going to copy everything, okay, guys? When I mean everything, be sure that you are not going to copy the interface here. What you are going to do is that you are going to copy just starting from here, from these like dashes, until the end. So remember, the first dash, there's going to be a lot of dashes in the top, and at the end you are going to have like this specific part at the end that says open mob store, okay? So once you copy everything, what you are going to do is just to paste it into MiniWord. So what you're going to do is that you are going to hit developer tools right here in the top, you see over here. And in developer tools, you are going to select scripts, okay? You are going to create a new script set, rename it as a system, or whatever name you want to give it, but important, give it a name so you know what it's going to do. You're going to create a new script. When you create a new script, you are going to see those like green letters around the area. Just delete those letters and paste right here the code that we sent. So you will be able to paste it just by hitting paste, okay? Yeah, these scripts, what it's going to do, you can see it's actually going to open the store. You see in my game when you hit the layout table, it's going to open the menu for creating the towers. So you will have all the time the menu in your hand. Probably you are going to get here, and it's very important, as you see right here, you are going to get an X probably. I get the X all the time here. If you see an X, a red part here, just delete all that line, okay? When you delete that line, your script is going to be perfect. But more important, guys, if you scroll down, you are going to set or see a part that says a setup, okay? Setup is the option where you are going to set up all the scripts for this. So let me increase the size so you will be able to see better like the text on it, okay? So there's going to be inside setup right here, you're going to see a part that says store toolbox item, okay? And what did you need to do that? That are going to have a number. As you see, each one of those three values, that's the only part that you need to set up, okay? So store toolbox item is going to be the ID of the item that you are going to use to open the store. Remember the last class, the class number 2, we create the money, we create the upgrade coin, and also the item that allows you to open the store. So what you have to do is to copy that ID here. How you're going to do that, okay? In MiniWord, you are going to just delete the number that is just in front of the part that says store toolbox item, okay? When you delete that number on here, on the top, just under the yellow icons or the bin icon, the open folder icon, and the save icon, there's going to be like default, like different streams or shots or buttons. You are going to have one that says ID library. You're going to hit on the ID library, and once you are in ID library, you are going to search for the one that says item in the scroll down menu that you are going to see. Okay? So when you hit item, it's going to open this menu. This menu have all the items in MiniWord, okay guys? So very important, if you create the item that I mentioned before, your item is going to be in custom. And you are going to see it. It's the weapon shot, or in this case, it's going to be the tower shop. You just hit on that one, and it's going to put a number in the area that you were having the mouse. Also, if you notice this, when you place the mouse over the item, it's going to have like the information. It's going to show you something that says ID. That is going to be the number, the existing number, or like the social security number or the identification for this item, okay? So you need to place that number here, all right? In my case, it's going to be 4106. You will have a different number probably. And with that, your item store is going to be safe. So let me show you the example here. Okay, guys, so if what I did right now was just to deactivate this script. Okay, I'm going to re-enter to the game, so you will be able to see the difference. And what I did actually basically is just to deactivate that option, okay? So you will see the difference. Our game is going to take some time to start. Alright guys, so if I use this specific item, the one that I have in my hand, that is the item that opened the store item, alright? But right now I cannot open anything because the trigger is not activated. Now if I activate the script back, the one that we just created, and I'm going to rename it as a store system. Let's say tower store system, okay? And now I play it. First, you are going to get that menu when the map starts. And second, with this script, when you open or use this item, the item that you place, this menu is going to be open. So that was the first part, guys. As you see, it's very easy to set up. Then you are going to place a mob inside the game that also allows you to open the store. So if you see here, and I talk to this mob, I will be able to open the menu for the towers, okay? So what you are going to do for that, you are going to just open the same script, and below that there is an option here that says Store Toolbox Mob, okay? So in the three options that we get before, and let me switch to this screen, the second option in setup says Store Toolbox Mob, and the item is 6. So if you change that number, you need to do the same. If you are going to delete the number here, and in the ID library, you are going to select creature instead of item. And once again, you are going to have all the creatures inside MiniWorld. You are going to select custom, and you are going to select your store. So when you select your store right here, you are going to see that the item or the mob, it's going to have that number on there. And finally, if you get one that says store develop item, that is going to open the developer store. If you don't have it, just place -1 or 1, and that's going to auto ignore that, okay? So now when you are in play mode, you will be able to have all this menu open. So remember, you only need to copy that script, okay? Now we are going to do another thing, guys, and it's that we are going to actually import another system. This system is going to be the tower system. So once again, create a new script in the same menu. You are going to delete everything. Oh, hi Rosa, and welcome. Okay, and now what you are going to do is that you are going to delete everything as always with the trash icon, the bin trash, or the trash bin recycle can icon. Now that you have everything deleted, you are going to access to the same web by going to just copy and paste again the website here. Okay. So once again, I'm going to paste this into the comments. And now that you have copied or opened this, you are going to open again another one of the scripts. The script is tower system. Okay, guys? For those that are, or as can see, are going to ask what is going to do, this one is going to do a lot of things. First, it's going to add the buff that allows your towers to attack the mobs, to auto attack, so you don't have to worry for adding like a lot of AI in your mobs. Just by having this, the towers are auto aim your mobs. Very important. Then remember, the towers needs to be created in base of the roaster, the yellow chicken. But this system is just going to first auto aim for your towers. Second, when your mob dies, it's going to provide like the reward based on the life of the mob. So as an example, if your mob has 20 of life, it's going to give 1 coin. If it has 40 of life, it's going to give 2 coins. That's going to be based in the life. Third is going to provide you the availability or the skill to sell the tower just by hitting the right click. And third one, you can add another function that will be use any item to attack that is going to only damage mobs, is not going to damage towers or flyers. And most important one is also going to provide you an auto heal. That means that your players are not going to have hunger inside your game, okay? So as you see, it's like a lot of small functions that are going to complete your sword system. So remember again, you need to copy this. Be sure that you are not going to copy like this part that says 100 lines or another parts. Just copy the code. So remember, the code is going to start with these lines. You only need to copy everything from the top to the end. Remember, here in the end is going to say auto heal hunger, and then it's going to have like the bracket, the end bracket. Just copy everything from the top. Be sure that everything is copied, because if you left one symbol, one part, it's not going to work. Just copy. Probably if you're in cell phone or in a computer, you are going to see another couple of functions before that. Don't copy that. Be sure that the only part that is copied is the code, and be sure that you are seeing all the code, okay? Now that you copy this, once again, you are going to into MiniWord, and you are going to paste that, okay? Once more, it's going to give you an error here. It's going to have a red, like X. The only thing that you need to do is to just delete that line, okay, guys? So, when you delete that line, probably it's going to give you another error. See, so if it's giving you any error, just delete that lines. But very important, in the part where it says setup, you are going to have, as always, the setup options. What you are going to do is, if you see here, at the beginning, we have right here the option that says setup, okay guys? That's very important. You are going to look for setup, and in setup you will have some specific features. On here you are going to have 3 different items, okay? It's very easy, guys. It's just going to be the item that we create for your money, your coins. So you need to place the number of the coins here. Item tower upgrade is going to be the number for the upgrade coins. Remember that we create also. And upgrade drop chance is the chance to get some, as an example, upgrade coins, okay? My space advice, this one, leave it in 90. So once more, once you copy, pass into MiniWord, if you get your items, just delete the number of the money that says eaten money, hit on ID library on the top, on the drop menu, select item, then you need to search for your coins, and just select the item, the coins, and you are going to insert it. For the upgrade coin, you are going to do the same. You are going to delete the number. You are going to select again ID library. You are going to select item from the drop menu. You are going to select custom, and on here you are going to select the upgrade coin. And that's it. You are going to save it. And now your system has all the features for the tower system to work. Okay, now the towers should be able to work fine. That's the last part. And that's it. Those are the only 2 scripts that we need for this class. Now the system is going to work fine. It's going to auto sell the towers. It's going to do all the features that I explained before, guys, okay? Just for you to know. Now, what we are going to do, I already have those here, as you see. It's the one that says auto attack. Is the same script that we just copy and paste, okay? So as always, I want to show you a real example about it. So we are going to create a minion, okay? So around, and when it's at least in the half of the way, it's going to explode. So we are going to give much more life. So remember, the basic tower in my game is making 10 of damage. That means that we can calculate how much damage is going to get this mode before it explodes, okay? So we are going to give at least, I don't know, let's give 80 of life. That means that it's going to receive 8 hits before explode. Okay, very important, guys. As you see, I'm only increasing like the base life in a little bit, not like duplicating it, because it's going to be very unbalanced. You remember that it needs to be progressive, okay? So the speed base, it's going to be 200. We are not going to play with that. Remember not to change all the features per level, just 1 or 2, because we don't want the mobs be too OP. For the buffs, here it's going to be explosion. And what it's going to do is going to change the damage. So the first level is going to do 20 of damage. The second level, it's going to do 40 of damage. And no, I remember I said that don't increase that much. So The second level is going to do 30 of damage, and the third level is going to do 40 of damage, okay? Very important, guys. That is the ideal part, but for this class, for this example, as we are not going to take that much longer time, I won't be able to create this, because for doing an exact damage, we will need to do an artificial explosion system. You know, mini explosion system doesn't allow to set up very well those parts, so I won't be able to change that, okay? So the coin reward is going to be according to the life. So in the 8th level, it's going to be, remember, for each 20 of life is going to give us 1 coin, so it's going to give us 4 coins. Now for the pricing, my basic mob have a price of 3, that is going to be the level 1. As this one is a special mob that has like 4 times the life that the normal one has, we are going to raise a lot of price, okay? So 4 times the price is going to be 12. And very important, guys, you can see it here that we can set up like the basics. Now we are going to change or create the minion like that. So this minion is going to require some objects. First object that we require is the mob, actually. It can be based on any animal. It's not like the towers that you need to use the roster. You can use whatever animal you want. If we get above, in this case, we need to create explosion. So that's very important, guys. In this case, as it's an explosion, we are going to create it by triggers. We are going to have a miss item, like an item that doesn't do anything, that actually is just like a dummy. It's going to detect that you acquired that item, and it's going to create a mob. And finally, it's going to require a store that sells the items, okay? So for this, we are going to start to creating the mob. First, we are going to add a new mob. As you see, you are going to hit a completely new. Remember, create, and an existing creature, you can use whatever creature you want as a base. Very important, guys. Try to use animals, don't use monsters, because most of the monsters are going to have their own UID, or their own artificial intelligence. We don't want that. We don't want like a mob that is going to shoot the towers or the flyers. So that's why we are going to use animals, okay? As an example, I always use the chicken, but you can use whatever animal you want, okay? So let's use as we are using the roster, let's use the squawker for this. The squawker, you are going to change the name for our mob. So remember, it's going to be Baby Boomer level 1, okay? Remember, always place the level here, so players will know that. Okay, so first we are going to change the model. Remember, you can choose whatever model you have. In my game, I already have Rocky, Frosty, and the different levels. Once you have the mob here, you can set up the size. If it's I will recommend you this, guys. So if the mob is level 1, choose 7. If the mob is level 2, choose 9. If the mob is level 3, it's going to be 1.1, and like that. If you have more levels, increase the size, so the players will know this also for the size that the mob is going to be more powerful, okay? Actually, go to attributes. For the creature type, you are going to select monsters. Animals. With animals, you are going to be sure that your mob is not going to disappear, okay? Remember the health, we are going to save it at the amount that we set. Remember in the table, the first level is going to have 80 of life. So let's change the life right here, okay guys? Check this, we are going to left 80. For the attack, remember that our mob is not going to be half attack. Movable, of course you have to be movable. But very sure, guys, when it's movable, you are going to hit here when it says edit, and you are going to take out of all the different options that it has here, okay? Very important, the speed. Remember, the speed is going to be 200. That's the recommended amount. You can have also some mobs that are going to be slower or faster, but don't overuse this. Don't get more than 300 or don't get less than 150. Now, everything else needs to be completely off. Okay, even the drop part, our system is going to auto drop the items, so you don't have to worry about that. Now for battle, in the battle tab, we are going to keep group as a default. The range, we are going to keep in 0, but very important, guys, the view field is going to be 24, okay? Attack, it needs to be completely off. In advanced, you are going to delete all the options that you have, okay? So remember, you are going to switch to advanced and delete everything, okay? And that's it, guys. We have already our first mob, our baby boomer. Okay, guys? It's right here. As always, guys, just to remind you, if we move back to the presentation, we left some parts, okay? We already have the mob here. Now we need to create the mob, the miss item, and the store. So I'm going to leave the buff for the end, because this is going to take a little bit of time. But we are going to create the miss item and the store, okay? So, for creating the mob here, we are going to go to mobs, to props, and we are going to create the miss item, okay? This item is not going to do anything, it's just going to be the mob number. So just hit create a new one, and when you create a new one, you are going to select the option that says miss, that is going to be like the fire icon. On there you have to place the information about your mob. First, we are going to give a name, baby boomer. That is going to be the name that we set up for your mob. Then we are going to set up a description for it. Very important, guys, if you can place the level for it. Remember that the players are going to know this, which level is your mob. So as an example, I hit here, it's going to be level 1. Alright. Now the description needs to have some information about your mob. So let's place first, the important thing is the life. So the mobs are going to know, the players are going to know how much life has your mob. That is going to be 80. Now the speed, because that is going to be another important value when they call the mobs and they take decisions, is going to be 200. And finally, the buff or the effect or the skill that the mob has. Okay, let's place it as a skill. So it's going to be easier to understand for the players. As you notice, I didn't use that much like text. I prefer to be concise because in MiniWord the players doesn't read. And it's going to be very easier, or it's going to be easier for you to understand when you don't have a locked option, okay? So for skills, we are going to say explodes in area when dies, okay? And that's simple. Remember, you can give colors to this. So if you hit on a like pound icon and the letter G in the uppercase, it's going to have green color. If you use hashtag or pound icon or a symbol and the letter red is going to have the letter R, sorry, is going to have a red color. And finally, if you hit the pound icon and the letter Y in uppercase, is going to give the yellow color to the text, okay? So we have now the name, we have the statistics. Now we are going to choose like the icon for it. Remember, guys, I'm going to place any icon because this is just a class. For you guys, you are going to place the right icons here. You are going to place the icons that you want to place for this mob. You can use also your custom miniature system. Now we are going to move to attributes, and you are going to keep this like a max amount of number that you have. And then the skills and everything else, you are going to keep it like it is. You are not going to do any change. We are going to add this mob to your system, so it's going to be right here. We left also the store, okay? Yeah, guys, now you are able to see my screen, so let me show you. You are going to create a store. When you create a store, you are going to add the special items here, okay? So just to let you check again how it works, let me show you here. What you did is basically create another mob. The mob needs to have service speed and needs to have a lot of life. That's the basics. It needs to not attack or do anything more than stay on there. And if you scroll down to interaction, you will be able to add the stores here. So you are going to create a new store. You give the store the name, you get the information, and here where it says product setup, you add the products. You need to select the product that you are going to create. You already create the mob, so select here. Select and edit, and on here you can set up everything. Important things, guys. On here you are going to place the coin icon. On here, you need to limit the remaining purchase to 5 or whatever number you want, but very important, the replacement needs to be on, and my advice is to keep it on 60, okay? That means every 60 seconds, it's going to just create a new existence for this one, okay? Now, once you complete that, you're going to see that your name is here, just saved, you're stored, and you will be able to play in the game, okay? So we're going to place our baby boomer here. The baby boomer is going to start moving. One shot more and it's going to die. As you see, the mob creates the explosion. Now we are going to boot the minion system. And to make this minion be able to spawn in the other team, we have to create some triggers, guys. Your favorite part, we are going to learn to create those triggers. So for this, we are going to have the next thing. First, we are going to have two different trigger sets. The first one is going to be player start. That is going to do is going to set up all the features for the player before the map start. Then we are going to have the Pui Minion item or the Pui Minion system. And what it's going to do, let me start first with this one, the player start. The player start is very easy, guys. We are going to have two triggers, one for the team 1, one for the team 2. We already learned how to create that one. But for this, very important, we are going to have the different things. For being able to create this system, you have to have a spawn minion area that is going to be a variable, a private variable. You have to have an area and also a path system, okay? So let's start with the easiest one. It's going to be the path system. So how it works, the path system, guys? If you realize, in my way, there's going to be these specific signs, okay? And I'm going to move to our map, the map that we were creating before, just to show you all the different things. So let me show you here. In MiniWord, we are going to access to the map that we used to create the base map when I teach you how to build your map, the basic rules. And what you are going to do is the next thing, guys. On here, from your spawn, that is going to be this area around here, you are going to start just by opening the menu, the normal menu in Creative, and you are going to have this that says signpost public, okay? What is going to do this one? This is going to provide a way to our mobs to move around the area. So what the mobs are going to do, they are going to follow the path, okay? How you can set up this one, okay? And just to show you, I'm going to delete this part so you will be able to see the same setup that I have in my game. Okay, so the first thing that you need to do is that you need to understand is that the mob is going to follow where a sign is pointing, okay? So if you hit the pan, you put the sign in this way, the mob is going to move in that way. If you put the sign on this way, the mob is going to move in this way, okay? Also for the sides, you can choose like intersections or you can use like rectangles, okay? So what you need to do is you have to create a path. For this, just place the signs in the floor with the right direction, all the path, okay? Why is important all the path? Because sometimes some mobs can get some errors. So be sure that they are going to follow the same path. Okay? So if you see here, I created a path. But very important, guys, when your mobs needs to turn, what you have to do is you cannot do this and then add to this. Why? Because this specific sign is going to tell the mobs to move this area. They are going to move around this area. Be sure that when you have to turn, the previous sign is pointing to the one that is having the right direction. So as you see, this one points to the one that have the right direction. And what you have to do is just follow all the paths right here to the end of your map. Okay, guys? On here, once again, don't do this because the mob is going to move to this area. What you need to do is to put the sign in the right way, okay? So never do this also because the mob is going to return. Just remember, you need to do this, okay? Very important, guys. Probably by mistake, you can click on the same sign. Don't do that. Be sure that because, well, as an example, again, this mob is going to move to this area if the sign is like this, okay? So just be sure that the sign is on this area. And if you get some mistakes, guys, be sure to fill that area with another sign like this. Okay, as you see, also if the mob gets out of the way in this corner, you will be able to do this, okay? And very important, guys, this is going to be for the size of map. Probably in your map you are going to have more different like signs. So if you get more sides like at the sides, what you have to do is just fill this like this. So with this, you are going to be sure that your mob is always going to go to the center. Like you see right here, everything is pointing to the center. So if your mobs are like this, even if they are on this way, they are going to move this way and they are going to find this sign and they are going to just follow the path, okay, guys? So what you have to do is you have to fill your map. If you get some errors, just use the signs to redirect the mobs like this one. You can do this to be sure that the mobs are going to be always in the right direction. like this. You can do like this. Remember, this one was failing. This one needs to be pointing here. And with this, you will be able to actually make your mobs move in the right way, okay? So as you see, those, don't worry, those signs are not going to be seen in play mode. Theirs are going to disappear because this is like just like a system item. And with that, you are going to assure that your mobs are going to move by the right way, okay guys? This is like the first requirement. Now we are going to create a second requirements, okay? So remember, we have two requirements. The first one is to create the path. As you see here, I already have the path by all the way until the end. Right, guys? Now, what you're going to do is that you are going to create an area, okay? Diogo, I didn't understand your question. I didn't understand your question because I didn't speak like Portuguese. Oh no, what happened is that probably you're coming from Nanda. Nanda used the same color because she creates two mobs. As in my game, you have two different teams and the mobs are never going to find each other. The mobs are just going to move in their independent way. You don't need to have the same color, okay? Why? Because our mobs doesn't have any team, okay? We are using the same teams or the same mobs for both teams, so the team is going to be no one, so you can use this one. If you place actually a team mob, you need to use the right team, but remember this, guys. As this specific block has also some colors, like Diogo mentioned in the comments, like this one, let me check this. You have like different colors. Yeah. What happens is that if you have a red mob, it can take any of those two, okay? So if you have a red mob, the mob is going to use whatever, if you have this one or if you have the red. But the blue mob, if you place a blue mob here, is only going to take the neutral, okay? So this works also for just normal mobs and no mobs with team. But this one specifically only works for mobs in the red team, okay? Just to let you know, but you don't need to place a color one, okay? Now, moving back, now what you need to do is that you create two different areas, okay? What are going to be the areas that we are going to create? The first one, it's going to be, remember to switch to the area system, just hit on here. And with the letter B or with this icon, you are going to see the areas. The first one is going to be called red spawn. That is going to be this area that you are going to find here. And what it's going to do, this area is the area where you are going to create the mobs. Two cool things that you need to be sure about. First, the area needs to be or needs to have at least 2 blocks from distance from the walls. That's very important. The walls needs to be at minimum, 2 blocks. Because if you place an area that is going to be very close to the borders, to the walls, your mobs can spawn outside your map, okay? So always be sure that your that this area is going to have at least 2 blocks of distance for each wall, okay? Once you create the area for the red team, rename it. I already give the name as a red spawn, and also I create a blue spawn. What it's going to do, the blue spawn is going to just be the same, but for the blue team, okay? Now that you have created all of those, what we are going to do is that we are going to switch back on developer tools to triggers, and we're going to start creating the triggers for the invocation of the moves, okay? So here I'm going to change the name, so it's going to be Baby Boomer Explosion. All right, and okay, I have also here one. What is this one? Oh, this was something that it doesn't have anything to do. But yeah, this is the Baby Boomer actually. All right, guys, so what you are going to do, guys, and let me switch to the presentation 1 second. Now, yes, you are seeing my screen. So we are going to start creating those player sets that you already create in the last class. What we are going to do is improve it, okay? So remember, we create two different like triggers. The first one was the red team initial trigger, and the second one is the blue one, okay? Remember, you need to set up, if you forget that part, to to set up two different events. The first one runs when any player enters the game. The second one is when any player respawns. And what you're going to do is to be sure that that player is from the blue team or the red team, depending on your script. And what you are going to do is to set up 3 variables. First one, it's called tower check, if I'm not wrong. Yes, check tower. That is going to be the kind of tower at the beginning that the player can place. The second one is the tower block. That is where the players can place the block. And finally, we have that one that is going to be the area. So what you have to do is that you have to add to this one another action that says assign, that assigns an area. So the area is going to be here. And the area that you are going to use is first, you need to select a function, private variable, and select the name of the variable. Okay, so remember that we create an area that says that exactly, that says the red spawn. Okay, so what you are going to do is the private variable that says red spawn, you are going to set it up. Okay, on here, why it's not allowing me to do it? Okay, yeah, sorry. Spawn minion, that's going to be the name. I forgot that. So the spawn minion here, that's correct. The name is going to be spawn minion. Needs to be set up as the area that you just created. Okay, so you are going to choose the area and you're going to select red spawn for the red team and blue spawn for the other team. Okay, now that we have those triggers created, that we have like the different triggers on this area. Okay, that is going to be the just like the trigger that we create the last class. Just add the part about the area here. Spawn minion, just like you see in the presentation. Now we are going to start creating here. Let me switch to the presentation again. Alright, so here we are going to create the buy minion system, okay? And how it works, we don't have a lot of time, so I'm going to be very quickly with this. We need to create 3 triggers. Oh, well, of course we need to create only 2. That depends on how many minions. So you are going to create one that is the base system that creates everything else. Why? Right? And once you have that base system created, you are going to start creating the minion waves. So you can have a lot of minion waves. What they are going to do is just to set up the variable, those 2 variables, to execute this specific trigger, okay? So how it's going to work, what it's going to do, is that specific trigger is not going to have like that much conditions. It's going to have just like simple conditions here. But also this specific trigger is going to place like literally the minion system. Okay, so let's move to Miniverse and let's start to create this. Okay, so the first trigger that I mentioned is to get minions on. Get minions on means that the minions are going to be created on the enemy team, and we are going to create this trigger from 0. Okay, so just create a new trigger set. Okay, I'm creating more triggers than the ones that I need. Sorry for that. Ignore that. So just select and create a new trigger set. You are going to rename it as attack mobs. Once you are in there, you are going to create a new trigger for that trigger set. Okay, I'm going to just move it. So it's going to be easier for me to navigate into the one that I want to show you. Okay, I know that the Miniverse should implement a better system to move around this area, but don't worry, guys. Okay, yeah, just right here. As you see here, we are going to start from 0, okay? So rename it. You are going to then rename it as a get minion zone. Of course, I already have it, so I'm going to get a different name. On 2, because we're going to just disabilitate this, okay? So what is going to do this trigger, guys? What we are going to do is just to execute this trigger. So this trigger doesn't need conditions, doesn't need to have anything about events, as you see here. We don't have any condition, we don't have any event. Okay, so first we are going to do the next thing. We are going to measure how many items the player get. Why? Because remember, in our system the player can get, as an example, 15 mobs, okay? So that's why we have here in the presentation a variable that is being called minion amount. What we are going to set is that variable, and that variable is going to be equals to the number of minions that the player gets. And how we are going to do that, how we are going to create that, okay? And that's actually very easy, guys. Let me show you in MiniWord again. What you are going to do is to add a new event or a new action, sorry. In the action, you are going to select assign, guys, okay? In assign, you are going to select value setup. Remember, this is a private variable. So for create a private variable, you have to hit here where it says function library. You are going to select team, and in team, you are going to select player library, okay? It's going to give you this new screen. You are going to select private variable, and in private variable, you are going to create a new variable in value that is going to be named as a minion amount. I already have it here created, so you are going to select that one. And you have the first part. Now for the number, you are going to hit here in the number 0. You are going to select function library. And I'm not sure. Yes, it's this one. And you are going to select items and items in player backpack. Okay, no, it's not this one. Let me check. Okay, it's this one, number of items owned. So when you hit that, it's going to detect how many items of the exact same or exact number of items from a specific type is having this player. So you are going to select in item type, you are going to select template library. And sorry, you know what? You are going to select item in type event, okay? Just let me confirm. Yes, as you see, we create the same one here. Yes, it's the same one. So what is going to do this? It's going to actually just count the amount of items that the player just get. Why? Because we are going to create the exact same of numbers of the minions, okay? Now, what we are going to do is, of course, delete those items, okay? Why? Because those items doesn't need to have anything. So you are going to select player as an action, and you are going to do another one that says remove item, okay? So when you select remove item, you are going to select players in trigger event. In item type, you are going to select item type in event. That's going to detect the same item that the player gets. But very important here, in value, you are going to select function library. You are going to select players private variable. And in private variable, we are going to select the amount. Remember that we set up the amount just some seconds ago. So we are going to select that one, okay? Now, the next part, the next step is going to be to create the amount of creatures that we have in the enemy attack, okay? In the teams that belongs. So it's very easy, guys. For create this, you are going to hit here, not a new action. You are going to select creature, and you are going to select create creature, okay? So you are going to have this one. You are going to have all this information. So remember, first we need to set up the amount. For this, we create a variable. So just select a function. Then you are going to select private variable, and you are going to select minion amount, the minion amount that we set up before. The creature type, it needs to be set up here as a new variable that we just have in our presentation here that we are going to set up later. So moving back to the structure, we have here a new variable that is going to be minion check. Minion check is going to save the information about the minion that we are going to create. And what we are going to do when we create a new trigger for each minion, we are going to set up that variable, okay? So for now, in game, you are going to go to MiniWord again, and where it says value, again, you are going to do the same. So we're going to create the minion amount in variable. So probably you are not going to have this one. Just hit create variable and give the name minion check, okay? Sorry, on here in creature type, you are going to select function library, creature, sorry, player, you are going to select player private variable. And player private variable, you are going to create a new variable that is going to be minion check. Okay, remember, just hit here. On here, you are going to create the name of the variable and select minion check. Now, if in the event position, we need to set up also this. For this, we are going to use function library. Again, we are going to select player private variable. And of course, on here, you are not going to have any variable because we didn't set up yet. That what you can do is just select the next thing. You are going to select here function library. On there, you are going to have like different options here. There is one that says central area of location or random location in area, okay? You can choose whatever you want. It's going to be easiest to choose just random area, okay? In the area, you are going to choose again function library. Then you are going to go to player. Remember, always to select a private variable, you need to select the player one. On private variable, select the one that says spawn minion. Remember, the spawn minion saves the area where the player is going to be created. Well, we have the area, we have the creature, and we have also the amount. Now we need to select the team. So we shouldn't need to create like different scripts or different triggers for each team. You are going to use only the same one. So what you are going to do here is that you are going to select in options, or sorry, in function library, you are going to select player, and you are going to select player's team. And in players, be sure that you choose players in trigger event. And that's it. Now we have like set up the amount, deleting the icons, and creating the creature. All that comes after that is just information and literally like information for the player, okay? So what I always do for you guys, you don't need to do that, but it's important to show the player that he creates this. So what I always do, guys, is to create three things. Always that you create something for the players, let the players know that they are taking effect. So first, I show a text message, like the text that appears in the half of the screen that says summon success. Second, I get a light effect on it, literally a special effect on it. Then I show like a sound for them, like, you know, for the players to notice that they actually get its minions. And finally, I set a message in the chat. So you have to do the same, okay? You don't need it, but it's something that is going to look more professional your game. So to creating the text, we just hit on here in player, add a new action, and you need to search here, display player to text. And display text to player, sorry, under shows the text that says summon or summon success. And that's it. Alright guys, of course you are going to put colors, you are going to also, you can place exactly which mob you connect, but I'm showing you very quickly that information. Second, we are going to do the special effect. So we are going to play a special effect on position. And the type of the special effect, you select whatever you want, guys. Again, I'm not going to take that much time to show you this because, you know, we need to see other things in the class. But yeah, you can take whatever like effect you want, like this one. Event position, just choose event position and the size one. Also, you can add a special sound effect. For the sound effect, you just select player, where it's player, it's around this area. So players turn on effect, okay. In the sound effects, select also whatever sound you wanted. I recommended the one that says market. So select one that sounds like it's doing something, like this one, as an example, and place it. And finally, for the chat, that is going to be also important because we need to let the other team know, or all the team know, that the player gets this specific feature. So be sure that you are not going to select player. Instead of that, select player group. This is going to send the chat to all the player. And select display chat to the player set. Player set, select function variable, or yeah, function player group. And all players in team, the team is going to be function and player team. In players, select the players in trigger event, okay? So remember, with this, we are going to show only to the same team. Now the content is going to be the character string, just as select in function library, connect or string concatenation. On here, we are going to put function library, and we are going to send first the player name, so they are going to know how many mobs they boot. In character string, select again function library, string concatenation, that allows you to connect some strings. On here it says summon minions. On here we are going to let the player know the amount. So to select the amount, just select function library, convert value to string. That means that we are going to convert a number into letters. And in function, in variable library, we are going to select the amount. So remember, function library, player private variable, and the private variable, it's going to be the one that we just create, that is minion amount, okay? And that's it. With that, we have the base to create our minion, okay? Oh, all right. So checking the comments. All right, I like that you like it, okay? So very important, guys, we have the base. As you see, this is not difficult, but it's not doing anything. Now what we need to create is the actual trigger that is going to summon or call this function, okay? How we are going to do that, how we do to actually create this specific feature. So the system is going to be very easy. First, we need to create some specific parts. Let me show you in detail that. So you are going to see that it's going to be very easy, okay? So you are going to create a new trigger. Remember that we are going to call our baby boomer. So on here, we are going to rename it. Remember to put the name and the level, okay? Baby boomer level 1, okay? First condition is going to be when the player gets a specific block. So when you add the event, on here you have like different events, you are going to select obtain props, okay? Now we need to set up the conditions. So in item, you are going to select determine item type. And remember we create an object, a miss object for this mob, we are going to select that one. So in template library, select custom. And in custom, you are going to select the item. Remember that this item is the one that is going to summon the baby boomer. So select that one, okay? And now for the events or for the actions, first we are going to set up the variable that we create. Remember that we create a creature variable. So we are going to select creature type setup. Very important, creature type as variable is going to be different to creature. If you select creature, it's not going to work, okay? So be sure that you select creature type. In creature type, you are going to select function library, player, and in private variable, you are going to use the one that we created before, that is minion check, okay guys? If you don't have it, just hit on the plus symbol and select here, minion check, okay? The name that we create for that one, that is minion check, I already have it, so it's around here. Just select that one. And now we are going to set up the creature type. So remember, the object of the baby boomer is going to create the creature baby boomer. So now we need to select the creature. And the creature, the baby boomer creature, is right here. So just select baby creature, baby boomer creature. And that's it. Check this. We have the first part. Now, right now is just set up the variable. Now what the trick here is that we are going to execute the trigger that we just created before, okay? So what you are going to do here is you are going to add a new action where it says trigger. You are going to set operate trigger, and the trigger is going, when you select trigger, is going to allow you to select which trigger. So remember the trigger is going to be get minions on number 2. Check the conditions, it needs to be true, okay guys? Very important, these check conditions need to be true. And now we have our skill, okay? Let me show you right now. On here, we are going to change. So remember we have the boomer like icon. Now we are going to place instead of that the boomer item, okay? And to show you just the effect, we are going to add like a lot of them. We are going to have like different here. So this is going to create 99, this is going to create 50, this is going to create 25, this is going to create 13, this is create some, and this is going to create 2, okay? So let me play the game now to show you what it means. So remember, those mobs are not going to appear here, they are going to appear in my spawn to attack the enemy team. So as you see here, what I'm going to do is first I'm going to take those of 2 items. As soon as I have it, the item disappears, and I got the effect and the sound. The chat is saying that. And as you see there, those minions are going to appear and are going to attack the enemy base, okay? Now, if I get 12 of them, the system is going to detect 12 of them, and it's going to send 12 of those minions to attack the enemy base. As you see, we already create the attack system, okay guys? We left 10 minutes. In those 10 minutes, we are going to start creating some parts. Because we left some specific things, probably I'm going to take 10 minutes more with you guys as always, because we left to create some part. Let me switch to the presentation. Now you are seeing my presentation. And it's that we are going to create now the most powerful system. So now the system that left is to create the wave system. Okay, guys? So right now, as you see here in my game, for those that are new, the system is creating those mobs automatically. You don't have to do anything, they are going to appear by themselves. And as you see, those minions are going to attack the enemy base. That's the system that I'm going to teach you how to do. So this is going to probably to take some time, and I just want to know, guys, if as an example you want to take more time. As you see here, and after you here, our baby boomer is making some explosions on there. And that's actually very cool. I like the effect, check that. But well, coming back to the class, we left 10 minutes, guys. I don't think that I will be able to show you this wave system, the one that is easy to make, in 10 minutes, but I'm going to do my best, okay? So let's do this. Going to take around 10 minutes more, okay? Hello, Julian, welcome. Hello, Min Puk Hallen. Hola, I see that you speak also Spanish. So welcome. And yeah, guys, okay? So let me change this. Now I'm going to teach you how to create the web system, okay? So moving back to MiniWord. Okay, now let's move back to the presentation, guys. So for this specific system, as you see, we have to create a lot more variables. Don't get over that. Take a screenshot of it so you will be able to create the variables later. Let me send you an explanation about how this system works. This is going to be basically the system. The system is composed by 4 different scripts right here, okay? So first we have the wave start, which is going to set up like the waves or send the waves as a new wave. It's going to set, this is the wave number 1 or the wave number 2. It's going to have those mobs. It's going to do all the job. Then we are going to have a while loop. A loop in programming or coding or in setup scripts is something that repeats over and over and over and over until you complete some condition. That's what is going to create the mobs. Then we have actually a wave loop 2 that is going to create the different monsters. So it's going to be very boring to have the same monster. What I did is have 2 different monsters in the game for each round, okay? Like the normal monster, remember that with the system that we made, you also can summon to attack another mobs to the enemy team, but just to let you know that. And then we have the wave break. That is going to be like the time off, the time that you get after completing some levels, that you have like a minute to just reinforce your defense, to have like a break, a breath for just improve your defenses, and right after that is going to spawn another wave, okay? So, very important, guys, the wave starts is which start the systems and create a wave loop. But the wave loop is going to run 2 different scripts at the end, or triggers. First the wave loop 2, and then the wave break. Okay? If the conditions mean, the condition is very simple. If there is no more remaining mobs to spawn in this wave, it's going to take the break, the time off, and the time off is going to be just under, and it's going to start the wave again, okay? Very important, guys, to make the things easier, as always, we are going to create a trigger that creates all the things, and then we are going to create a set of triggers that are going to be actually the minion triggers, okay? So you are going to have only one trigger control everything, and you can just use the different ways as a setup, okay? So moving to the presentation and to the practice, let's start with MiniWord, okay? So once again, you are going to select Developer Tools. This time, you are going to create a new trigger set, guys, okay? So the trigger set that I set up for this one is called Waves, okay? That's the name for that one. Let me change the name for this. Mob skills, so I'm not going to be confused in the future. Oh, God. I hate when that happens to me, that I don't know if I'm using the block modules or not. Okay. Alright, so in Waves, as always, we are going to create, or we are going to start creating the different triggers, okay? So for this, we are going to create first one that is going to have the name of wave start, okay? And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to create a new trigger set, so you will be able to see the difference here, okay? I'm going to move this trigger set, so for me it's going to be easier to move just over waves, okay? I'm going to rename it as a waves 2 because I'm going to do all the triggers from 0 for you. Alright. So in waves 2, I'm going to have the actual triggers that I'm creating, and in waves 1, I'm going to have the example. So the first trigger that we are going to create it's going to be the wave start. No, we are going to start by the wave break, okay? And I'm going to show you why. What happened is that the wave break is actually going to be the first trigger that is going to run when your map is created. That is very important. Apart from the normal time or usage that you are going to do for that one, you are going to start the map with that, because we are going to provide 60 seconds, 1 minute at the beginning for the players to get in position, to think, to read the options, to think about which tower they are going to put and learn the basics of the game, okay? So wave break is going to be this first one, and I have it right here, okay? So what is going to be the first one? The event for this one is going to be when the game is created. That is going to be that one, okay? You only have that event, there's no difficult. And apart from that, we are going to have two different conditions here, guys. Okay, so the first condition is that it's going to check a specific variable. If I switch back to the presentation, as you are seeing right now, the first variable, or one of the variables that we hear here, is one that says remaining mobs, okay? Okay, it's going to be this one, is going to be a value, okay? And why it's going to be a value? Because we are going to count how many mobs are going to have per wave. Very important, guys. This one is, or most of these specific wave values are going to be global variables. They're going not to be like basic variables like the other ones that are going to be private, that are going to work per player. These ones are going to work just by all the players at the same time, okay? And second, we are going to have a one that says game status playing, okay? This is going to be just a Boolean value, so let me go to the mini word again. We are going to start here, okay? So first we are going to add a condition. The condition needs to be a value, okay? So we need to search here, is math. In math, you are going to select numerical comparison and it's going to have this new screen, okay? In value, you are going to select the first variable, okay? Remember, if you don't have the variable, you need to create it. It's going to be named as a remaining mobs, okay? So on there, you are going to select, again, you are going to create a variable. You are going to select remaining mobs. Of course, create it. I already have it here, and you are going to select that, okay? Game remaining mobs. And we need to be sure that the value is going to be math, and sorry. You are going to select here, and you are going to select input, and you are going to place 0. What does it mean? It means that if we don't have more mobs remaining to spawn, we are going to execute the break, okay? The second condition that is also important is that we need to be playing the game. What is going to measure the game playing status? Game playing status is going to detect if you are in break or if you are not. So in that case, this break is not going to execute itself a lot of times, it's just the first time, okay? So you are going to hit again on here to add one. To find the actual Boolean values, you have to hit here when it says tool, and you are going to see one that says Boolean comparison. You are going to select the Boolean value, and on here you are going to select gameplay status. What you are going to do, if you don't have it, you are going to create it once more. You are going to select game status playing, okay? And what is a Boolean value? A Boolean value, it's like a conditional that only have two options, if it's on or is off. On means that it's playing, off means that it's not playing. So very important, guys, and this is very important. For this one, you need to place default values on, okay? So the initial value for this specific variable, it's going to be on, okay? So hit on, of course, I already have it. So I just place the name different for me to be able to detect which one is one. But I already have it, and it's going to be game status variable, okay? Game status playing. Of course, I'm going to delete that later. And it needs to be yes. On here, you are going to hit the options, and you are going to say true, okay? False, sorry. You are going to select false, or true, sorry, true. Yeah, that's correct. You're going to select true. Okay, and anyway, let me delete the old one, the one that is not going to work. So I'm not going to have like more variables. Remember, this game status playing. As you see here, also this initial value it's on, okay? So our system it's going to detect basically if this value it's on or off, okay? So let me switch to the presentation back, okay? So as you see here, we have other variables to create. One another that is going to be important is going to be the timer, okay? Because I'm going to explain what it's going to do. This trigger, what it's going to detect is just send a message to the players and start the timer. When this timer ends, start wave is going to start, okay? So what we are going to do right now, on MiniWord, let me switch to MiniWord again. Yes, you are in MiniWord now. On MiniWord, you are going to add an action. And the first thing that we are going to do is to turn off the gameplay, okay? So remember we have a volume value. So we are going to turn off the game status playing, we are going to turn it as an off. So that means that this trigger is only going to execute one time, because as we set up this as false, if get executed again, this is going to not work. It's not going to work because this is already off, okay? Now, what will be the next step? We are going to send a message to the players. So in the chat, we are going to hit here in player group and display text to a group, okay? The player set, you are going to select functions and you are going to select player group, all players. That means that all players are going to receive the message. And in input, we are going to do two things. In here, we are going to use screen concatenation. Okay, and we are going to input here wave, or let's do it like this. Instead of that, in the first one, you are going to select function library. You are going to select value and you are going to create a new variable, okay? In variables, you are going to select create game round. Again, just hit here, create game round, and hit created, okay? As I already have it created, you are going to select just game round. Game round is going to measure in which round are we currently, okay? So we are going to know which round we are right now. And on here, in input, we are going to select inputs. We are going to do a space to separate that. And we are going to place has in color, wave, in color green, wave, has finished it. Now in yellow, let's select, in green again. Reinforce your defenses, okay? So what it's going to do this, it's going just to tell the number of the wave that we have, and also it's going to tell the players, oh, I made a mistake here. So I placed another here. All right, reinforce your defenses, and it's going to tell the players to reinforce the defenses. That's it. Actually, it's just information, but this is the most important one to continue with the system, guys. You are going to hit here. And okay, yes. Okay, so we already tell that. If you see here, we are going to operate a timer, so we need to create that, okay? To operate a timer, we need to hit on here timer, and we are going to have different options. Run timer is going to run the timer from 1 to the number whatever you want. So as an example, you can count the days pass or everything. And countdown is going to have a number like 30 seconds, and it's going to start reducing the time until it gets on 0. So we are going to use that. We are going to hit here, operate a timer. The timer, it's going to have a cooldown. So timer, you select variable, and you are going to create a new trigger that says off time, okay? Off time, it's going to have it's the timer. So on here, if you don't have it, you are going to create a variable. It's going to say off time, and just hit on confirm. I already have it, so I already going to place that one. The cooldown is going to be the time that you are going to take off. My best advice is to keep 60 seconds. That's the time that the players are going to have to start building the defenses. But you can choose whatever time you want. And in repeat, be sure it's in false, okay? So with this, we already create the base, of course, but we need to left two things more, okay? First, we need the timer is running, but we are not showing the players the time to the next wave. So to show the players that, just hit on add a new one, and in timer, it's different, the timer and the display panel. So the display timer panel, it's going to be like the information in the top that shows to the player that the timer is going to expire. So select timer, select variable. In variable, you are going to select off time. Player set, as always, we are going to show to all players. So select function, pliers and off pliers. And finally, the string is going to be, again, string concatenation. So we are going to select, here we are going to select function, string concatenation. Character string, we are going to select here the number of the wave. Or let's do this, don't overcomplicate here. We are going just to put next wave starts, or next wave, okay? Don't worry. Select less amount of text. We are going to place this. Also, we are going to give a color green to this one. But we are going to place an end, okay? So if you don't want anything else be colored by green, just hit this specific symbol that is going to be pound or hashtag, and the letter N in lowercase, give a space to it, and that's it. It's going to have the color just for that part. The numbers are going to be in white. Just to let the player know that the next wave is going to start, just hit here on, on this one. You are going to create here an option that says create a special effect. So the special effect is going to be the sounds. Let's select a sound. The sound is going to be for all the pliers. So you are going to select, instead of plier, you are going to select plier group. We are going to select the pliers. Again, select function, plier group, and all pliers. The sound effect, choose template library, and on here we have like different sounds about the system. So we are going to choose one that sounds like you have wind. Alright, so select that one that looks like you have wind around. And that's it, we have our first trigger, okay? Now, we left 5 minutes more to the class, so I'm going to show you another trigger that is going to be the wave starter, okay guys? So how it's going to work the wave start? The wave start is going to control which is going to be the wave. So that is going to be this one, okay? What is that is first hides and stops the previous counter that we left. Then it's going to change the game round. It's going to show to the player that the round has been started. It's going to make a sound. It's going to start operate the different waves. And finally, it's going to start like the wave loop, okay? So what we have to do for this one is to create a new one, okay? So this one is going to be only executed when the time is 0. So let me show you in MiniWord how you are going to do that. You are going to create a new one, you are going to rename it, and the name you are going to place wave start. Okay guys, I know this is a little bit large and complicated, but you are going to have all the information, okay? Okay. Alright, I see that you're talking about milk in the comments. That's very nice. Alright, so guys, for this, you don't have to place an actual event here. As you see, just only place here whenever a time or a timer ends. So for playing this, you have to play on game logic. On here, you are going to hit timer change. Now in conditions, you are going to add math. Oh, let me check here. Yes, I think it's math. On here, you are going to use numerical comparison. In numerical comparison, you are going to use function library. Then you are going to select timer time. And on timer time, you need to select the timer that we create, that is of time. And if timer time is equals to 0, that means that there is no more timer mining on that one. That's going to be the first part, yes. And very important guys, another important thing is that the game status needs to be off. It needs to be completely off. So for this, again, we are going to check a Boolean comparison. For that, you need to select Tools, Boolean comparison. And in Boolean comparison, guys, you are going to select the game status playing, and the value needs to be false, okay guys? That's very important. When the value is false, we can start creating the wave, okay? So as always, this wave is going to have some specific features. Just like we did with the game break, the first condition is to change the game status, okay? So with that, we are going to avoid that the game status is going to execute over and over, okay? That is to just, we are going to limit that. So hit here on variable, you are going to select game status playing. Remember, we are assigning a Boolean one. Remember, assign Boolean. And we are going to select here as true, okay? That means that this is going to start the system. Now, we already create that. The second thing that we are going to do is that we are going to stop the timer and we are going to turn off everything. So to stop the timer that we create, that is the cooldown, we are going to hit on timer and stop timer. The timer, as always, is going to be the off time, okay? Let me take some water, guys. All right, guys, so now that we stop the time, we need to hide the timer, okay? We don't want the players to still have the timer. All right, so now we are going to just hide the timer panel. Once again, we are going to select this. And let me do this, just a second. All right, and now we are going to select spam timer and we are going to hide for all players, okay guys? So once again, we are hiding this for all the players. Now we have to set up a couple of things. So first, now we already hide everything and we set up the basics. Now we are going to add a new feature. And what we are going to do is that we are going to increase the time round, okay? So remember, we are going to start with the round 0 and we are going to increase the different rounds, which wave is going to change. So for that, select value setup. In value setup, we are going to select variables. We are going to create one, or if you already have it, because we are already created, we are going to select game round, that is the one that we create. And we are going to set up like this. We are going to use functions. We are going to do a numerical comparison. We are going to select again the variable that is going to be game round, and we are going to be sure that is in add, and we are going to add one number to that one, okay? That means that the round is going to increase by 1, okay? Now, very important guys, and I'm not going to show this because you already know how to do it, but you are going to add a chat for all the players showing that the new wave has been increased. You are going to make a sound, okay? That is very important, guys. You will need to do that to let the players know. But the most important thing that we are going to do is that we are going to do the next thing, okay? We have until this point the wave start, okay? You are going to stop right now. We are going to continue with this one later. What you are going to do on this one, okay? Oh, sorry. In here where it says hide, you are going to select off time, okay? That's going to be different, okay? But now we are going to create our first wave script, okay? So select one, we are going to rename it as a wave 1, okay? As I already have some waves, I don't going to change this. And what we are going to do is that we are going to execute with this one, we are going to execute in wave start, we are going to execute that wave, okay? So what you are going to do is just to hit here on trigger, operate trigger. And for operate trigger, what you are going to do is that you are going to actually execute that one, okay? The wave 1. Remember, you are going to do this for each one of the waves that you are going to have. And what you are going to have for each wave is very simple, okay guys? So first you need to set up here in the condition, don't do any event for the wave, okay? You are going to select just the condition, and in the condition you are going to select that the variable that is going to be a math calculation, that the variable that is called as a game round, that is your actual round, is the wave that you are going to create. So if the game round or the wave is the number 1, the action is going to be that we are going to set up some variables, guys, okay? So first, we are going to set up a value variable assigned here that is going to be the value, okay? The value, it's going to create a new variable, okay, guys? The variable that we are going to use for this one is, first, we are going to set up remaining mobs, okay? So remember, guys, create a new variable that is called remaining mobs. We already created. So if you don't have it, remember that for all the class we see this. And yeah, now for the game remaining mobs, you are going to select this one as the amount of mobs that are going to spawn on this wave. So as an example, for mine is going to be 50 mobs. Now, what we are going to do apart from this, we are going to set up two different variables, guys. So remember, in our system, we are going to have two different mobs, mobs 1 and mobs number 2, okay? So we are going to add a new one, we are going to assign, and this time we are going to assign a creature type, okay, guys? Very important, not creature, just creature type setup. The name of the variable that we are going to create is round monster, okay? Round monster is the monster that spawns by default, and round monster 2 has some chances to spawn, okay? So the main monster of this round is going to be here. Select game round monster, and in creature type select your mob, okay? Whatever mob you want it. Remember that we create this one, the baby boomer. So we are going to select the baby boomer. And very important, guys, if you want to have a second a second mob here, you can select this too, okay? Let me move this one a little bit, because each time that you copy something, it's going to move everything. And you are going to select again or create the same, copy that specific action, and on here you are going to create another variable that is going to be round monster 2. And you are going to select here another mob, okay? The second monster that is going to spawn in your wave. Let's select whatever monster you have. And finally, we have our wave completely finished. Okay, here. So as you see, with these wave icons, or with this wave just simple waves are going to be very simple. Remember, if you want to make the wave number 2, just copy and paste, change the name for it as always. On here, once more, you have to place the number of the wave. Very important, guys. In the condition, always place the number of the mob. You can set up this like whatever you want it, okay? So you can change the monster, whatever you want, you can change it from here, okay? So the baby boomer number 2, baby boomer number 3. But very important, guys, if you add a different wave, you have to go back here. You have to go to wave start, and on here, you also need to add this wave again, okay? So let me show you here. If I can move this very quickly. Alright, so yes, you copy again this trigger here, and this time you need to execute the trigger that you just create for the other wave, okay? So at the end, I'm going to show you my other wave, the one that I already finished here. So in my wave start, as you see, it's the same triggers here, but I have all my waves, okay? So you have to all the waves on there. Once you finish adding the waves here, okay? Imagine that you have 30 waves, you are going to add the 30 waves here. You are going to add a new action after you add all the waves, and you are going to assign a new type of creature. So you are going to select again creature type set. This time we are going to select the next round creature, okay? And the next one, for this one, you are going to create another creature variable that's going to be named as a game this one is going to be game next mob. What it's going to do is to set up the next mob that is going to be spawned. Just select confirm, okay? So remember, I already have it created here, but this game next mob, and the creature type is going to be selected on here. You are going to choose a variable, and it's going to be round monster, okay? Very important, guys. We're going to select game monster on here. And finally, at the end, what you are going to do after you do all these things, it's just to start a timer, okay, guys? And that's where our system is going to detect the waves. Okay, so what we are going to do again here is after we have all the waves added here, we are going to go here, we are going to go to timer, and we are going to cool down a timer, okay? The timer, you need to create a new timer that is going to be spawn timer, that is going to be the name. Once again, so select here, add, and select the name, spawn timer. I already have it created, so I'm going to select down. We are going to select as a cooldown time 2 seconds. And very important, guys, on here you need to select repeat, and it's going to be true. Okay? And that's it. We already finished creating this specific wave, okay? So, oh, sorry. Very important clarification, guys. I want to be sure here. On here, you need to choose false, okay? When it says repeat, false, okay? So, guys, until the point, I think we already take more of the time that we need. Of course, we already have 20 minutes more. So, in this, I'm going to keep this like for the next class that we are going to learn how to do the last one. That is going to be the loop that creates the mobs, okay? Why? Because we already take 20 minutes more of the class, and I don't want you to be a little bit tired of it. So guys, for those that are just arriving, like Artin, welcome. Welcome also Hohang, Nang. Welcome all of you guys. Welcome Boo. So, yes, you are late, don't worry, check the loops. But remember guys, for this class, we left only a couple of things here, okay? So we are going to start the last class doing our wave loop system, okay? Or actually, let me check. Oh no. If you are available to stay with me a couple of minutes more, we can finish now, or you prefer to finish this on the next class. I think we're going to take the time for the next class because it's going to be very large.